Hello, I have a short demonstration for you here today of something that I call a day in the life of a software engineer. And it really is a primarily VS Code driven workflow where you can combine the power of VS Code, the power of GitLab Ultimate, and the power of CodeSonar by Ada Core to make life easier for software development teams. So in this demo, I'll show you how you can use VS Code for a lot of the steps, how GitLab steps in the back end by orchestrating pipelines, by allowing security teams to express policies and enforce them, and allowing developers to understand what those policies are and specifically violations on those policies, and how this brings everything together in a single powerful workflow. So this is my VS Code environment. Let me quickly switch to GitLab. I typically start with what I call an issue, or what GitLab calls an issue. This is the requirements, basically. So from there, I can create a merge request, and the merge request really is the entity that ties everything together. And you will see the merge request being created, and this is where the team collaborates. This is where developers pick up information on whether their changes are accepted or not accepted, and all those type of good things. So here, this is the beginning. Right now, we don't have any changes just yet. So let's go back to VS Code, and I go to the GitLab workflow extension. And in here, I can see all my merge requests. This is the one that I just created. There's other team members working on other things. So I can check out my merge request here. And now I have my branch available, and I can start working on this. Now what I want to do is I want to pretend I'm adding some code here. So in here, I'm in file underscore common.c, and I'm in the function mosquito underscore fopen. This project here is an open source project, Mosquito, and I'm just adding some code in here. I've got some code that I have open here. This is just some sample code. It's simple, it's self-contained. It has a couple of vulnerabilities in that we can talk about, and I can do that, and then submit my new functionality. Now, typically when you submit this into a pipeline, this is when the testing workflows start. And the testing workflow can be quite elaborate. We have some really nice demonstrations that combine unit test in simulation, unit test on hardware, integration test, lots of different things, code coverage, you name it. But this is a very simple environment. Now, what you can see here is that this has kicked off the pipeline. So this is a CodeSonar build, as I said, a very simple environment. And you can see the pipeline running here. It's about 50,000 lines of code. It takes about 5 minutes to run the pipeline. That includes everything. That includes setting up the pods in the Kubernetes cluster and making everything run, download, analyze, and upload. So while that runs, let me show you a little bit what this pipeline looks like. So this is the pipeline GitLab YAML. And you can see two things here. These are CI components. CI components are reusable pipeline snippets. It's a framework that GitLab has set up. And I have one here for CodeSonar. You can look at this. It's a public CI component. And it really defines and it integrates CodeSonar into your pipeline with very little fuss and fuss. And here is my SDK. An SDK component is a terminology that I use for containers, right? So this is a container project. Again, it's a GitLab project. This one is also public, so you should be able to find this one too. And it defines my compiler, my operating system, my dependencies, everything that I need to do. I can also use these container components if I want to do a local build. I can do a VS Code dev container, and I can get really, really creative with it. Not what we want to do in this particular very simple demo. And then the pipeline is really simple. This is my CodeSonar build. It bases both that CI component for CodeSonar and that CI component for the Mosquito SDK. So this means CodeSonar gets integrated into this step, and this step uses the container defined in the SDK as part of the Kubernetes cluster. And in the side of the Kubernetes cluster, we have a GitLab runner. And this basically sets up the environment, and then this runs the build up here. So very simple. What this does not talk about is security requirements. And that's what I really appreciate in the GitLab Ultimate environment. That is something else that the security team can define and can overlay over something. So I have a security policy defined at this examples level. So everything underneath that examples level has to adhere to that security policy, but the developers themselves don't have to worry about that. So the DevSecOps person for this particular project doesn't have to worry about the security rules. At the same time, they're enforced. So developers have to make sure that code adheres to the security rules, and they'll see violations. They can then fix violations themselves, right? They're empowered to fix those violations. And that way you can really crank up your security compliance without really hiring a lot of people in that security team. Everything is automated, and developers gradually get better at avoiding security problems. So this is my pipeline. It's still running. It's probably almost ready. And when it's ready, I'll come back to you. All right, here we're back. You can see here the pipeline has passed. And this is important. There's nothing wrong with the pipeline itself. Everything that the pipeline is supposed to do, all the compilation and analysis actions have perfectly completed. But security scanning detected at least 25 new potential vulnerabilities. And this is important. It talks about new vulnerabilities. These are only new findings that CodeSonar has found that are different than the ones that were already in the project. Right? So if I'm a software developer, if I've added new code, I really don't want to see the outstanding warnings that were already tech debt, that were already in the project. It can be tens of thousands depending on how big your project is. This is just the new warnings in relation to the code that I've just added. Now, because of this, there is a security policy for example projects that is blocking this merge, and it requires an approval. Now, the nice part is I've set myself as an approver because this is a demo environment, so I can approve this, but otherwise you would have a list of people here that would be eligible to approve it. So the merge is blocked because I need approvals, and not all policy rules are satisfied. And also the merge request is still in a draft mode, so I'd have to make the merge request not draft. That's easy, but even if I do that, these two still block my merge request. So I'm a developer, I've added code, there's security vulnerabilities that are new in this project. Let's go have a look at them. Now what you'll see is there's quite a few of these new warnings, right? There's at least 25, so that means there's more than 25. And I can see them all here. I can see all the MISRA numbers. And let's have a look at this one here. So this is all information that came from CodeSonar. It's a little bit hard to see here. I can click here and it'll open the source code in GitLab, but that's not what I want. I want to open it in CodeSonar. So this opens in the CodeSonar. Here's my Mosquito F open that I just added that code to. The tan background, that is the warning path. So the path to the source code that triggers this particular warning. In this case, it's very simple. In more elaborate CodeSonar paths, this can go across translation units, across functions, and it all lines it up nicely in one workflow for the developer to review. Now, what you can see here right away, you can pause it and have a deeper look at the error messages here, but for brevity, we're doing a malloc stringlen s +1, but the bracket is in the wrong spot, right? We're actually allocating stringlen s and then moving the pointer by 1. So this gives us a buffer overrun by 2. 1 because we don't have a space for the null character, and then the other one because we're moving the pointer inside of the buffer. So this is not good. We have to fix these type of things. But before we decide to fix, it would really be good to know like how important this is. How often is this being called in the whole program context? Now, if I hover over this, we get our info window, which is a really neat feature inside of CodeSonar. And in this info window, you can see how often this function is being called, and it's called quite a bit, right? This is a table view, gives you a quick idea. My personal favorite is the graphical view here. So here you can see that there's a whole bunch of paths through the source code that can call this function. Now the code that we've added to that function actually returns, so it gives some interesting return values, and that's why we have so many new warnings, because the return values that we send is not what the program expected. So there's lots of different problems in this code path that CodeSonar has now highlighted. Okay, so how then are we going to fix this? Because this is a web view, this is static. Let's go back to our GitLab merge request. And so this is the pipeline. These are the artifacts from the pipeline. If I download these artifacts, that will actually download a bunch of files. One of the files that it downloads is a serif file, and a serif file is an open standard for static analysis results. So I can open that serif file in VS Code here, If I go to my downloads, I open that Sarah file. And here's the warnings in CodeSonar, in VS Code. Here's the warnings in VS Code. You can see there's 16 different locations, 11 rule violated, and 68 serif results. So GitLab said more than 25, well 68 is more than 25. And then I can go to my buffer overrun, and this is the one that we were just looking at. It's now in a different display, right? So you can see the code. You can see the code that we've added, and you see these, I call them funky flags. That's probably a better term for them. But these are the steps that you could sort of see in CodeSonar as well. You can kind of see what goes on there. So this allows you to kind of navigate through all of these warnings. There's the analysis steps here as well. That gives you information and you can go fix it. One of my favorite ways of fixing these things is to actually use AI. So this is the GitLab Duo agent platform. And I can either copy the info from here, or I can do something simple and say in file common.c, please fix the buffer overrun on line 173, right? 173. And send that off, and then GitLab will start fixing these things. See, it says, hey, gee, the bracket is in the wrong spot. Let me fix that for you. And now that has been fixed. So I can submit this, but I still have, 67 warnings to go, right? So if we really want to see what this looks like, let's pretend that we fix it by just removing the entire offending code. And then you can see how this workflow goes. So remove the entire offending code, and then just submit this back into GitLab. Fixed my problems. So I haven't fixed them, I just removed the code, but this would show you what the entire end-to-end workflow would look like. So this kicks off a pipeline again. Here's my pipeline. Again, 5 minutes or so, and then I'll be back. Okay, the pipeline is done. We can see here my merge request pipeline passed. The security scanning detected no new potential vulnerabilities. So the fact that we removed the offending lines cleared the vulnerabilities. And now approval is optional. Fantastic. Merge request must not be drafted. If I click this as ready, then I can merge this and I'm off to go. So I hope this made sense from the beginning through an issue and a merge request. Check out the branch in VS Code, do our modifications. We immediately see feedback in GitLab in our merge request window. We see the security widget, the policy being violated, blocking my merge request, empowering me to fix those warnings. CodeSonar gives lots of information about these warnings. I can navigate them. I can figure out what the path is. And if what I didn't show, I can actually annotate them as well. And if I say, hey, this is not something I want to fix, I can mark that as such as well. And I can kind of move through. Now, this is a demo. If you want to see more, go to adacore.com and request a trial evaluation of CodeSonar. And you can actually walk through this all by yourself on a couple of open source projects, or we're happy to give you an evaluation license as well. You can try it on your own project. Hope this was helpful for you, and have a great day.